Following the camera setting 2 menu item in the last tutorial, the next one in the menu bar is network. In the network menu item, you find functions and settings that are related to the camera's connectivity via NFC, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Just as a reminder, before we dive into the A7 III massive menu system again, the icons for the respective menu item, the category headers and position indicators will facilitate orientation and will show you at any time where we are in the menu system as we run through the pages. The network menu item is represented by the white globe icon on a dark green background in the menu bar. Unlike the massive camera settings 1 and 2 menu items, the network menu item has only 2 pages, with each one of them offering 6 features, functions or submenus. We start with page 1, where the category header says Network 1. The first item is the Send to Smartphone function, which lets you send images and certain types of videos to your smartphone. A prerequisite for this to work is that you have installed Sony's Imaging Edge mobile app on your smartphone. It's basically the older Play Memories mobile app, just with a new name. There are multiple ways of connecting the camera to your smartphone, via NFC, the camera's own Wi-Fi hotspot, or a Wi-Fi access point. For on-the-fly upload of images to your smartphone, when you are on the road, NFC and the camera's Wi-Fi hotspot are the easiest options. However, the issue is that not all camera smartphone combinations work the same way. In fact, some cause problems each time you want to transfer images or videos, and some work smoothly all the time. For example, it always worked with my Samsung Galaxy S7, but not with my S9. I will do a separate video just on how to connect camera and smartphone, including troubleshooting. In the meantime, just try to proceed as follows. Selecting Send to Smartphone function in the menu takes you to submenu, which offers 2 options, Send to Smartphone and PX Sending Target. Selecting the first option, Send to Smartphone, takes you to another submenu, Select on this device and select on Smartphone. Choosing the first option, Select on this device, takes you to a further submenu. There you can choose whether you want to transfer a single image, all images shot on the same date, or multiple images of your choice to the smartphone. As soon as you select one of these, the camera wants to establish a connection to the smartphone and a pop-up window with a QR code appears. If you have established the connection between camera and smartphone before, you don't have to scan this code again. The other option, Select on Smartphone, initially starts the same procedure for establishing a connection between camera and smartphone by scanning the QR code, but then it displays the images on the memory card of the camera on your smartphone. I recommend using this option. Firstly, because this way you can select the images for upload on your bigger smartphone screen, and secondly, because this always worked for me, whereas Select on the device didn't. If you only want to transfer one image to your smartphone, you can also try it via NFC. Press the play button and display the image of choice. Then activate NFC on your smartphone, start the Imaging Edge mobile app and put the smartphone close to the NFC mark on the right side of the camera's grip. Now the camera should automatically upload the image to your smartphone. By the way, the Imaging Edge mobile app lets you pre-specify whether you want to transfer images in their original resolution or limit it to about 2 megabytes. The latter is more than sufficient for further upload to social media. What we shouldn't forget to talk about is PX Sending Target in the first submenu of the Send to Smartphone function. If you want to transfer XAVCS videos to your smartphone, this one lets you pre-specify whether you only want to send over the original file, the proxy, if it was enabled on page 1 of the Camera Settings 2 menu item, or both, original and proxy. The next item, Send to Computer, is not a setting in the narrow sense. Running the Imaging Edge Home software on your computer, it lets you initiate the transfer of all images on your memory card or just a folder to that computer via local Wi-Fi router. You might prefer this method over messing with the FTP configuration. However, before you can do so, you have to register the Wi-Fi access point with the camera. How to do this and how to configure the Imaging Edge Home software will be explained in a separate tutorial because it would be beyond the scope of this video. The next item, the FTP transfer function, lets you initiate sending selected photos on your memory card to your FTP server. Since most people have neither access to an FTP server nor have configured their computer to access one, I won't cover this here in detail. The next item, View on TV, allows you to play back your pictures on any HD TV that has built-in Wi-Fi and DLNA capabilities. Before you can use this feature, you have to make sure that both camera and HD TV are logged into the same Wi-Fi access point, that is a Wi-Fi router. Then, the first time you invoke this feature, it starts to search for compatible devices in your Wi-Fi network and provides you with the found devices. Choosing the HD TV, the camera establishes the connection to it. Since this feature is limited to images only, the better way is connecting your camera to the HD TV via an HDMI cable. The next feature, Control with Smartphone, as the name suggests, allows you to control the camera with your smartphone. This is also done via the Imaging Edge mobile app and requires you to establish a connection beforehand, as described earlier. Then your smartphone acts like a remote control on which you see a live view preview and which lets you control some basic functions of the camera, like taking a photo or starting and stopping recording a video. This feature comes in handy in situations that require you to keep distance from your subject. For example, if your subject is a wild animal. In the submenu of this feature, you can establish a connection to your smartphone on a case-by-case basis or permanent one. The next function, Airplane Mode, is exactly what it suggests and what you know from your smartphone. It disables all Wi-Fi activities on your camera. Let's switch to page 2, where the category header says Network 2 and which also offers 6 items. The first item is Wi-Fi settings. Selecting it takes you to a submenu with 4 items by which you can establish a connection to a Wi-Fi access point, i.e. your Wi-Fi router. If that router has a WPS button, you can quickly set up a connection to the camera without the need for SSIDs and passwords just by pressing that WPS button and activating this function in the camera's menu. If your router is not equipped with the WPS button, you have to set things up manually in the submenu item called Access Point Settings. The Display MAC address function is just there to view the camera's media access control address, in short MAC address. You will only need this if your camera is part of a network of devices managed by a third party. In other words, you most likely will never need it. And the last item in this submenu is SSID Password Reset, which lets you erase the camera's memory of your smartphone connection info. You might need this one when you run into trouble trying to connect your camera to your smartphone. However, when you want to connect your camera to a new smartphone, you don't need it, as the old data will be overwritten automatically. The next item, Bluetooth settings, is not to establish a connection between camera and smartphone per se, but to conduct the one-time setup required to have your smartphone's GPS receiver automatically write the GPS coordinates to the EXIF data of your images as you take them. The prerequisite for this to work is that you have paired camera and smartphone before and activated GPS on your smartphone. For the one-time setup, you take a photo and transfer it to your camera via the Imaging Edge mobile app as described earlier. Then you enable Bluetooth function and invoke pairing in the Bluetooth settings submenu. In the Imaging mobile app, you touch the words location information linkage and set the slider to on. Then click on Set the Camera and choose Sony a7III, i.e. your camera, and confirm that you allowed the connection by hitting OK. Finally, go back to the Network 2 menu page and set location information link setting to on. That's it. In future, the smartphone will automatically connect to the camera when it turns on and send the current GPS coordinates when you take a photo, if GPS and Bluetooth are enabled on your smartphone. Just make sure you leave smartphone and camera 10 to 15 seconds for reconnection before you take the first picture. The next item, Edit Device Name, lets you change the SSID of the camera that's needed when communicating with your Wi-Fi equipped smartphone. If you want to change it, make sure to do so before you pair camera and smartphone. Otherwise, you have to pair the two all over again. The next item is import root certificate. This one lets you import the password needed to send files via FTP, wired or wireless. If you want to transfer sensitive photos via FTP securely, you have to invoke this function before starting the FTP transfer. Here as well, you need to perform this step only once. The next item is reset network settings and lets you erase your camera's memory of your Wi-Fi router for your computer network. Make sure to do so before you sell your camera. The function setting reset on page 7 of the setup menu item, which is used for an entire system reset, does not erase the Wi-Fi information. This was it. Now that you have gotten an overview of all the features, functions and settings of the network menu item, make sure you don't miss the next tutorial on the features, functions and settings of the playback menu item. Just hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it and you will be notified. And if this tutorial was helpful for you, I would very much appreciate getting your thumbs up.